Okay, good morning. My name is Mario Bonviaggio. I'm the Vice President of Port Richmond North Shore Alliance. We're here with our elected officials that represent the Port Richmond community and other portions of the North Shore. We're here in front of the Port Richmond Post Office because of the lack of mailboxes in the 10302 area code. Zero mailboxes in the Port Richmond area, which has become a concern. We're a little frustrated why such a bold move and this punitive measure was placed upon us for no good reason. So, we reached out after we did some research to, clarify everything. Mary Bullock is the founder and president of the Civic Group. She says always follow the facts. So when we searched and we drove around and we found that there are no mailboxes, we immediately contacted our elected officials. And at a federal level, we reached out to U.S. Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, and she immediately jumped on us, frustrated as equally as us. And so we have a representative from her office, Lily, to speak on a few words. And I thank you for being on top of this issue along with the other electeds.
Thank you, Mario, for getting us together. The Congresswoman is in D.C. She asked me to make the statement on her behalf. We stand in solidarity with Port Richmond community, which recently saw mailboxes removed and now faces significant challenges accessing the USPS services. This community, which has a high population of seniors and residents without vehicles, should not suffer the consequences of bad actors. Unfortunately, mailboxes were recently removed due to rampant check theft and phishing incidences, cresting a significant inconvenience for the residents and businesses of Port Richmond. The onus should be on federal, state, and local law enforcement to ensure these crimes are taken seriously and that offenders are prosecuted appropriately. By addressing the criminal activity, we can work towards reducing rates of check theft and restore mailboxes in Port Richmond and other parts of Staten Island and New York City. And just in closing, I want to thank Mario again and Port Richmond North Shore Alliance. This man does not get enough credit that he deserves. Not only is he there for the Port Richmond community, you'll see him there for everyone in all of Staten Island. I've seen him at rallies all over the island. He does incredible work, and we're so grateful for all that you do and hope you continue this for many years to come. So thank you. And if you are in the Port Richmond community and haven't been to his meetings, you are missing out. And I think there's one coming up on the 27th that he could mention, and he'll tell you how to get in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily, and the Port Richmond community really appreciates the correspondence with her office on not only this issue but so many other issues. We have a state elected official here that his area, his residents, in his neighborhood, he's been subjected to the removal of mailboxes just blocks away, from where he has the pleasure to walk from his home to the mailbox. That has since stopped, and checked a few days ago, those mailboxes haven't worked. So we reached out to him because we now share his frustration, and he immediately responded by coming. I want to sincerely thank Representative Pirizzola for quickly responding to our calls for help and assistance, and I don't want to waste any more of anyone's time. Please, Representative Pirizzola.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you for the good job that you're doing here representing the community of Port Richmond. And what Mario says is true. I come from the Mid-Island, and I live right by the Manor Road post office, and we had mailboxes for decades where people could pull up and they would be able to put their mail there, and a lot of senior citizens and elderly took advantage of that. Then the mailboxes were switched to these tiny little slots. And take it from me, a guy who does a lot of mailing, when I used to go to those mailboxes, you can't put more than 2 or 3 letters at a time through those slots. So when the post office says to me or says to elected officials that the reason they're cutting back, as alluded to by the statement from Congresswoman Malliotakis, the reason that they're taking up these mailboxes is due to check fraud and checks being stolen, I have to think there's some smoke and mirrors going on here, because if you can't put letters in, you certainly aren't taking them out with fishing wire or whatever. So I'd like to see the videos, I'd like to see the stats of check fraud that's coming from mailboxes, because I'm beginning to think that if there is any fraud, it's not coming from outside the post office, it may be coming from within inside the post office. So I would like to know, and I'd like to see some numbers. If the post office can't manage a mailbox on Manor Road outside with security cameras, then what are they going to do for the rest of Staten Island? How is it that the entire community of Port Richmond does not have one outside mailbox? There's something definitely wrong here, and if we're talking about, well, you know, we don't have the money to put them back, then the United States Post Office is not spending its money wisely. And perhaps maybe I should speak with the Congresswoman of an audit for the United States Post Office to see what the heck is going on, because they're obviously not performing in a way that we feel they should be for our constituents. Thank you. Mario, again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And it's very important to be a partner with elected officials with situations like this and so many other issues, you know, that happen not only in Port Richmond but in Staten Island. So our next speaker, you know, we have a representative in Borough Hall. I scratch my head how he does it. Over 500,000 people on Staten Island, and this one representative covers all 4 points of Staten Island on many issues. He has come to Port Richmond to, you know, speak about issues we have right here in this community, and we're very fortunate to have him. You know, it's Borough President Vito Fasella. His office has, you know, his representation has paid off in dividends coming to this community. Representatives of his office coming to our meetings, listening to constituent concerns, and it's a pleasure to announce Mr. Nicholas Thompson from the Borough President Vito Fasella's office.
Thank you, Mario. Good morning, everybody. As Mario mentioned, my name is Nicholas Thompson. I'm the press liaison for Borough President Vito Fasella. Port Richmond is a vibrant and growing community, and keeping it that way means paying attention to quality of life issues. This is certainly one of them. Port Richmond is in the 10302 zip code. In every town on the island, people have the convenience of being able to drop off their mail and mailboxes around their neighborhood. That convenience is not available to Port Richmond residents, and those who want to send mail to their friends or loved ones must go to the post office. It's a working community, and oftentimes people are just not available during working hours to get to the post office. Adding mailboxes here can only help residents, especially those for whom it's not just a convenience, but a need. We support Port Richmond North Shore Alliance in this effort to bring what should be a simple resolution to this quality of life issue. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mario, for your leadership. Thank you, Port Richmond North Shore Alliance, and hopefully we can get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I appreciate your kind words, and again, coming here and representing the Borough President's office, and, you know, dealing with, you know, some of the issues that we feel can be fixed, and with the elected official support, we hope to turn this around. Finally, we have a junior New York State Senator, but she doesn't act the position. New York State Senator Jessica Scarcella-Spanton. I enjoy to call her Senator Jess. She really is a superwoman. Her office is excellent, spot on, and I'd just like to make mention her office answers emails on New Year's Day, and that's fact. With issue that we have an ongoing, an incident that happened in Port Richmond, which was a state issue, her office responded quickly, and it happened on New Year's Day. So, you know, we have nothing but praise coming from the Senator Scarcella's office, and we have a representative here from her office, Ms. Sarah Salem. She's going to speak a few words on the issues with the mailbox.
Thank you, Mario. Hi, my name is Sarah from Jessica Scarcella-Spanton's office. The Senator stands with Port Richmond community and is calling for the immediate restoration of USPS mailbox in the area. The removal of these crucial services has caused a significant inconvenience and hardship for residents who rely on them for communication and access to postal services. This issue is not about convenience. It's about ensuring that everyone in the community has equal access to services. I thank Mario for bringing us all together today and this morning to mention these urgent issues, and I rely on everyone to work together regarding this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Salem, for coming and speaking on behalf of Senator Scarcella. So it was mentioned, we do have our meetings. This issue was brought up at a couple of our meetings when they started removing the mailboxes. So again, this civic group, we don't just come here, and complain about issues. We come with some resolutions. We come with measures that can correct an issue, and the mailboxes is included. I mean, let's make no mistake about it. The reason why the mailboxes were removed, this punitive measure towards Port Richmond, it really makes no sense. The reasons why they were taken is because of theft. The United States Postal Service, allegedly, the United States Postal Service really provided no data in regards to that. We received data from the NYPD, which is a close partner with us. The data comes from theft at homes, as they call it, porch pirates, and they steal packages and mail from there. But there's no evidence, no data supporting evidence of theft. I mean, this is a growing community. Listen, the demographics and the dynamics of this neighborhood, Port Richmond, has changed and continues to change. We are the most diverse community in all of Staten Island. We have people from regions in the Middle East. We have largely a Hispanic community with regions throughout South America. They are proud Spanish people in our community, like all the other demographics in our community. They work, and the problem is when they work, it's a long day. They leave Port Richmond before the post office opens. They come home from work to Port Richmond after the post office is closed. What used to stand right here, you can see the footprint of the two mailboxes that used to be that was placed here, is removed. They used that when they came home, either to or from work, and now that opportunity or that privilege to mail that article of letters has been removed. Some of these people work on Saturdays. Some of these people work 7 days a week. This post office closes at 1 p.m. When would you like them to mail their letters? When would it be convenient for them? So they have to get in their car and drive to another neighborhood where they have mailboxes, which is underutilized. And why do I mention that? I'm going to. Again, we do our fact finding first. So I brought with me a camera, which is a wild view camera. Cost about $30, batteries, SD card. And we also did a poll with part of our mentorship program that we have with the civic group. Numerous high school students went to various areas of the North Shore, and they asked people, shoppers, people walking on the sidewalk, what do you use most when you correspond with your family or pay bills? The U.S. Post Office or the internet? So we went to we went to 4 of the zip codes, 10301, 10310, 10314, and 10303. So the average people, and we broke down, which were hundreds, they welcomed the poll. 8.5 out of 10 people utilize the internet to correspond with their families and to conduct business online. 10302 exclusively, 4 out of 10 people utilize the internet. So they rely mostly with the United States Postal Service and corresponding with their family in other countries. So the perception that, Port Richmond is poor, that's not the case. That song is tired. Again, this neighborhood is up and coming, and we're proud middle-class families throughout Port Richmond that enjoy the opportunity to work. And let's make no mistake about it, a lot of people in the Port Richmond community, primarily the people in the Spanish community, are responsible for keeping the lights on in a large portion of businesses on Staten Island, and they come from Port Richmond. Why are they denied a basic federal service in Port Richmond in their own home? It's frustrating. You play that song over and over again, and it just frustrates one person to think. To go a step further, we installed these cameras at 3 locations on the North Shore. That's neighbors on the neighboring zip codes on the North Shore. So in a 7-day period, we put this, we situated a camera above a mailbox, and of the following zip codes, this were the results. 10310 at this one mailbox 4 people dropped their letters in the mailbox. In 10301 was 7 people in a 7-day period. In 10314, and then we had to wait another week because we thought the camera was damaged. We put it back outside of the letter carrier checking the mailbox. 0 used that mailbox. 0 people. So let's put that in perspective. Port Richmond Avenue is a 1.3 mile long commercial corridor. You could hear the traffic. You can see the people walking. We have a very busy car wash here, and people have entered and exited this post office and walked on Port Richmond Avenue. I could guarantee you that they have to come here at least twice or 3 times a day to empty out those 2 mailboxes. Why don't we have it is beyond me. The leader of the federal government, the outgoing administration, on his first day stood at a podium such as this, and he made some bold statements. He's going to put in place point people in all these different agencies, and they are going to be transparent, and they are going to be community oriented, and if they don't act appropriately, they're gone. I'm not going to deal with any of that malarkey. That's his quote. We have another issue that has been promoted, the DEI, equity and inclusion. Why are we not included in the federal service? So I have 3 new words for the DEI. It's DOA, it's dead on arrival. It's not working. It's certainly not working for the Port Richmond community. And it's, quite frankly, it's insulting, especially to our diverse community. It's unacceptable. All we ask for as a start is to put the mailboxes back in place, and the federal government, the highest level of government, in which the enforcement arm in the federal government is the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Treasury Department, and here we have a federal post, and if you look behind me, there are no cameras installed here. This is security 101. The car wash has 11 cameras. The laundromat, I could see right off the bat, has about 9. Why is there not 1 camera installed in front of here? They could reposition the mailboxes to put them alongside the building and situate cameras to protect the mailboxes. So in case something does happen, which we don't see it happening, at least there's something that's recorded on video. It's the outgoing administration, I could say, they've been a tremendous disappointment, particularly in the Port Richmond community. And I communicate with a former elected official, and this person always says, you vote what you see in front of you. What we do not see in front of you are mailboxes. And on November 5th, 2024, the people have spoken. And that's really, that's all I have to say with that. We're hoping that the new administration would open up a little bit, be more community oriented, and we're requesting that the United States Postal Service really come to their grips and return the mailboxes to the Port Richmond community. We deserve it. One woman wanted to come. I'm holding her letter to mail, and she couldn't come because when she comes, she has to drop off her kids and go to work, and she doesn't come home till well after this post office is closed. I have to go inside and drop off the mail, otherwise it would have to wait. And it's a bill for a medical procedure that a family member got done. You know, this is what we're talking about. You shouldn't have to force people to use the internet. This is America, and if we want to choose to continue to use the United States Postal Service, we have a right to do that. You have to help us with that. Again, I thank all of this diverse community that's coming. We have, small business owners that took their time away from their business to come here to prove a point that a mailbox is needed to correspond, pay their bills, and so many other things. And we could stay here for hours. I thank you again. Are there any questions that you have from your editor or anything like that? No? All right. So I thank you all for coming, and I hope this gets reversed.
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you. Thank you.